Let's be honest, someone out there still feels something strong for you. You've sensed it. Maybe it's the way their eyes avoid yours too quickly. Maybe it's how they go silent when your name comes up. Or maybe it's the haunting tension that lingers in the air when you're unexpectedly in the same room. It's unsettling, isn't it? Because deep inside you can tell that what they pretend to ignore is actually what they can't let go of. And tonight, I want you to listen not just with your ears, but with the part of you that still remembers how it felt when you thought you finally meant something to them. This video might challenge you, it might hurt a little, but truth often does. Men like you, yes, you, rarely get spoken to honestly about what happens inside a woman's mind when she still has feelings, but chooses distance instead. You might think she's done with you, that her silence is rejection. But more often than you realize, that silence is actually emotional self-defense. She's not ignoring you because she forgot you. She's ignoring you because remembering you still affects her more than she wants to admit. When a woman avoids a man she still cares about, it's because proximity threatens her emotional control. She worries that spending one more minute near you might let her guard slip, that hearing your voice again might trigger the memories she fought so hard to bury, that looking you in the eyes might reignite something she's not ready to confront. Maybe she's scared that talking to you could pull her back into the vulnerability she once regretted. Or maybe the real truth is that she's afraid if she lets you in again, you'll leave just like you did before. Men often assume avoidance means disinterest, but in female psychology it frequently means the opposite. When her emotions run too deep to casually manage, she'll retreat, not because you don't matter, but because you matter too much. She distances herself to protect her dignity, her self-worth, even her sanity. She is not closing the door completely, but she's choosing to stand behind it, listening, heart racing, hoping you don't walk away for good. So if someone has been distant with you lately, someone whose presence still creates an emotional shift inside you, recognize this. If she truly didn't care, she'd act indifferent, neutral, unbothered. But if her avoidance feels loaded, that reaction has weight. A woman who is entirely over you will not try to hide, only the ones still affected will. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know whether what she hides is pain, regret, or hope she's secretly guarding. You're still here. Good. That means you felt something in what I said, and if it stirred even a little discomfort, that's because your intuition has been whispering what your logic keeps trying to deny. Now listen carefully, because what I'm about to reveal is one of the most misunderstood dynamics between men and women, especially when she still feels something for you but chooses distance. She may avoid you, but she doesn't erase you. She's not indifferent. She's scanning for emotional safety before taking even one step toward what you represent. A woman evaluates risk differently than you. While men often chase what they desire, women withdraw from what emotionally destabilizes them. When she sees you, she doesn't just see a person. She sees the possibility of reopening a wound. You want resolution. She wants protection. And even if you have no intention of hurting her, her nervous system remembers every moment where she felt exposed, unnoticed, or replaced. Her avoidance is not a wall, it's armor. When someone still has deep feelings for you, they rarely show it directly. Instead, you see inconsistencies. She occasionally checks your social media but ignores your messages. She walks away in person but stays longer than needed near you before leaving. She listens when someone mentions your name but pretends she didn't. Familiar gestures, adjusting her hair, glancing sideways, fidgeting with her fingers. Those are unintentionally revealing. If you pay attention, her body speaks before her words do. She avoids initiating because she expects you to do it first, to show you're not just curious. You're committed to understanding what went wrong. Women often hide affection behind strict emotional discipline. If her feelings are strong but uncertain, she'll create silence, hoping that if you care, you'll find a way through it. Not with pressure, not with desperation, but with clarity. She's waiting for consistency. She wants to see if what she imagined about you is real or if she romanticized someone who wasn't ready. Remember, men move when they feel desire. Women move when they feel safe. And right now, she doesn't feel safe enough to engage. Not because you're dangerous, but because her heart is. Every time she thinks about speaking to you, fear answers first. What if he still doesn't see my value? What if I open up and he walks away? What if I try and he doesn't try back? So she waits, not because she lacks feelings, but because she hopes time will either make them fade or make you step forward consciously. When a man truly understands the woman he once held, he doesn't chase, he approaches. He doesn't demand closure, he gives reassurance, and he doesn't rush the moment. He respects the process. If you sense she still cares, don't confront her with accusations. Instead, invite her with emotional stability. Let your calm presence contradict the version of you that hurt her. Because the truth is, she's not avoiding you. She's avoiding who she remembers you were. And if you've grown since then, your actions will eventually prove it louder than any apology. Right now, you're probably wondering, if she still feels something, why doesn't she just say it? Why doesn't she give this a chance instead of running from it? Let me answer that in the simplest way possible, because vulnerability after disappointment feels like walking back into a burning building hoping the flames are gone. She remembers how warm it once felt inside, but she also remembers how badly it burned when everything collapsed. When a woman cares deeply and simultaneously keeps her distance, it signals a psychological conflict. Her emotional memory pulls her toward you, but her logical defense pushes her away. She thinks of the moments that made her smile, the conversations that made her feel seen. Then just as quickly, she remembers the silence, the uncertainty, the sleepless nights wondering what she meant to you. That's when avoidance becomes her only way to maintain control over feelings she hasn't processed. You see, men often cope by distraction, work, hobbies, even other connections. Women process differently. They internalize. They replay moments not to blame you, but to understand why they opened up to someone who wasn't fully prepared to carry the weight of their trust. So when she avoids you, she's not discarding the past. She's silently taking inventory. If I allow him back in, will this lead to healing, or will I be rebuilding myself all over again? Her distance is often her last sign of respect toward the connection, because if she interacted casually, pretending she's fine, it would be a lie. And if she engaged emotionally without clarity, she might break again. So she sacrifices potential closeness to preserve emotional stability. She chooses silence not because she's cold, but because she still feels too much. And here's something men rarely hear. Sometimes when a woman steps away, it's not a test, it's an invitation. Not for you to chase recklessly, but to rise consciously. To demonstrate emotionally that you no longer respond with avoidance like you once did, that you no longer wait for moments, you create them intentionally, that you've stopped being reactive and have become reflective. If she still has deep feelings, she will notice subtle changes in you long before any grand gesture, your eye contact, your patience, your tone, your presence when you're near her, without forcing conversations. When a woman still cares and sees those changes, her avoidance slowly loosens. Not because she decided overnight, but because her heart started trusting the version of you she's seeing now, not the one she remembers. Understand this clearly. Proximity alone won't heal things. Emotional safety will. Regret won't reconnect you. Emotional leadership might. So if someone still lingers in your thoughts, and you suspect she pulls away not from hate, but from unresolved care, reflect on this question. Do your current actions match the emotional maturity she once wished you had? Because if the answer is yes and you stay consistent, she will eventually feel it, without words. Let's go deeper, because by now, if you're still watching, something inside you knows this message is personal. And whether you admit it or not, part of you is still connected to her energy. Maybe you've tried to detach, maybe you've pretended you don't care, But if her silence appears in your thoughts when the night gets quiet, if her name still activates something in your chest, then avoidance isn't just coming from her, it might also be coming from you. Because men avoid too. Not through silence, but through distraction, through bravado, through emotional numbness disguised as strength. There's a truth most men avoid facing. She didn't retreat just because of what you did. She may have retreated because of what you didn't do. The reassurance you never gave, the emotional clarity you held back. The moment you chose pride over vulnerability, and maybe, just maybe, she stepped away hoping that if this connection mattered to you, you would follow not with persistence, but with emotional depth. Women don't want men to chase their presence. They want men to pursue understanding. When her feelings run deep but she keeps her distance, she's quietly watching whether you react with frustration, confusion, or growth. If you only get angry at her withdrawal, she'll know your desire was rooted more in validation than in care. But if you respond with composure, if you improve without expecting a reward, if you show kindness even while she keeps her guard up, that's when the paradigm shifts. She is not looking for grand gestures. She's looking for emotional reliability, a man who is not triggered by delay, a man who doesn't take her silence personally, but sees it as the weight she's still carrying. You don't fix it by demanding answers. You heal it by becoming the answer. Here's what most men don't realize. Sometimes a woman avoids you because she still believes you have the power to affect her, and until she knows you won't misuse that power, she'd rather stay distant. That is not rejection. It's caution. And caution is not a door closing. It's a heart waiting. But let's be brutally honest. If you haven't grown since the last time you interacted, if you're still leading with ego, reacting impulsively, or believing that being desired is the ultimate proof of worth, then nothing I say will help you reconnect with her. Because she's not just waiting for communication. She's waiting for evidence that you've evolved. So ask yourself, have I become the kind of man she can emotionally trust again? Only when the answer to that is yes, not in words, but in consistent action, will she start to soften the distance. Because for women, feelings don't disappear. They get filtered through safety. And if you want to re-enter her life, don't knock on the door she closed. Stand outside it long enough to show through your presence, not pressure, that this time she's safe. Take a breath, because what comes next is uncomfortable, but necessary if you truly want to understand what's happening beneath her silence. You see, when a woman distances herself from a man she still feels deeply connected to, she often does so because she's silently grieving, not the loss of you, but the loss of who she believed you could be for her. She's not just avoiding the past version of you, she's mourning the future she thought was possible. And that's why even when she tries to move on, she finds herself emotionally frozen when faced with someone who reminds her of what once felt almost right. A man's silence after emotional shutdown is often an escape. He convinces himself that she'll move on, that time dissolves impact. But to her, time doesn't erase, it magnifies. Every day she spends without reaching out is another day she reminds herself she deserves clarity, safety, and consistency. You might think she's forgotten, but the truth? She's testing her emotional endurance, because silence isn't always absence. Sometimes it's preparation. Understand something profound. Women don't withdraw to punish you. They retreat to protect the version of themselves that believed in you. And if she feels you didn't value that version the first time, she won't let it be exposed again without proof that something within you has shifted. And yes, she still senses you, even from a distance. She notices if your eyes still search for hers. She notices if your posture changes when she's near. She sees how you interact with others, listens for the maturity in your voice, feels whether your presence is calming or unsettling. She measures whether the man standing before her is the one she remembers or someone she's never met before, someone steadier, someone who doesn't flinch when emotions arise. If she still has deep feelings but avoids you, the question is no longer whether she cares. It's whether she believes you've become someone safe to care for. This is where many men fail. They try to re-enter with charm, with words, with urgency. But what truly shifts her perspective isn't your approach, it's your evolution. Women don't fall in love with potential twice. They fall in love with realization, with seeing a man grow into everything she once believed he could be, not because of her pressure, but because of his own decision to evolve. So if your instinct right now is to rush toward her, pause. Instead, step into self-awareness. The most powerful message you can send is not through text or direct pursuit, but through the consistency of who you are becoming. Because when she still feels something, your growth will echo back to her. And in quiet moments, she'll begin to wonder, not whether you care, but whether this time caring means something different. And when that happens, her avoidance won't instantly disappear, but it will begin to soften. Not because you convinced her, but because she felt your transformation without you needing to prove it. Let's finish this with honesty so raw that you can't escape it. You've spent this entire video hearing about her psychology, her defense mechanisms, her hidden feelings. But now I want to turn the light towards you, because the final truth isn't about what she feels, it's about what you do with it. Yes, someone may still have deep feelings for you, but is avoiding you. Yes, her silence may be rooted in unresolved care. Yes, that avoidance could be protection. But the real question is this: if she opened the door even slightly, are you genuinely prepared to walk through it the right way? Don't answer too quickly. Real transformation doesn't happen in a moment of inspiration. It happens in the quiet discipline of who you're becoming while no one watches. Emotional maturity is not about saying, "I've changed." It's about being the man who never forces closeness, who creates safety through consistency. A man who can hold space for her unspoken fears, not counter them with his own insecurities. So listen carefully. If she messaged you right now, if she stood in front of you, if she said she still feels something, could you meet her with patience, understanding, and leadership? Or would you, even unintentionally, let ego, urgency, or old habits take over? Because she's not searching for excitement. She's searching for peace. She's not waiting to feel butterflies. She's waiting to feel safe. If you haven't removed pride from your decision-making, if accountability still feels like blame instead of ownership, if communication still feels like pressure instead of clarity, then her avoidance is not rejection. It's wisdom. But if you've grown, if you can be near her without requiring answers, if you can listen without defending yourself, if you can respect her pace without interpreting it as resistance, then maybe, just maybe, the distance isn't permanent, because a woman will avoid a man she still has feelings for until she recognizes emotional safety in his presence. And you don't rush safety, you build it. Hear these words as they are meant. You are not defined by the silence between you and her. You are defined by who you become in the silence. So here's the most intimate question you must ask yourself before even considering reconnecting with her. Am I pursuing her because I miss what she gave me? Or because I now have something stronger, safer, and more emotionally grounded to give her? Answer honestly. Your future depends on it. If this video spoke to you today, I want you to write your answer in the comments. No pretenses, no filters, just truth. Like this video, subscribe for more deeper insights, and share it with a man who needs to hear this tonight.